Okay, so the Teclast Master T10 is a budget tablet with actually kind of one highlight, the high resolution of 2560 by 1440. In this price range, that's something you don't see all that often. What is the price range? Well, usually it's around $230 and roughly 190 euros. On a flash sale, or maybe if you check down there for the link, you will get a coupon code for roughly, I would say, $180 and 150 euros. So then I would say we should take a look at it if that's worth it. Now, in terms of build quality, it's absolutely actually fine because it feels very solid. Also, nice build overall, all quite smooth, nice transitions. It weighs quite a lot though, just because of the big battery and so on. Here on the top we can see, if my camera actually wants to, the power button, volume rocker. A little bit oddly placed, especially if you, like me, want to use it like this in portrait mode. I kind of hit them quite often by accident, so you have to kind of definitely use it like this, even though it feels definitely weird in many situations. Of course, here the cam. Micro HDMI, that is something quite useful because I've used it and it works absolutely fine. Then micro USB, yes, no Type-C, which is a little bit sad. One of the two speakers, and here you would actually also have an SD card tray. On the bottom, the microphone, even signed. Now, fingerprint reader on the back. Let's just see how quick it is. Or maybe not, because as you can see, I will make it loud so you can hear it. Wait. And it's actually placed a little bit odd because I kind of always want to press like here, so I always miss it. But let's see. Yeah, it's definitely the screen turn on time that actually makes it look worse, as you can see here, because once you can see, this actually is okay. Now, bezels, I would say, are absolutely fine also with the camera here and so on. And here, of course, some plastic for better reception. It's heavy, that's the only thing, but otherwise build quality and such I'm totally okay with. Now the display is something where I'm a little bit twisted because there are some definitely good parts, especially the high resolution, because it is a very clear and sharp display. And I actually think the quality of the panel isn't bad, but the calibration out of the box is just weird. Because if you use standard or the vivid mode, one thing it actually does is that something that I had a hard time getting used to is it boosts dark areas way too much to kind of make it look better than it actually is. And usually that's fine. And I have to say, if it's mostly just about video experience, so if you watch a lot of YouTube, maybe don't expect accurate colors, but you will get a pleasant video experience. Yes, contrast is just a little bit too heavy, but colors are nice. Maximum brightness wasn't high though. I measured just 330 lux, which is definitely indoors good enough, but outdoors that could be not that good. But like I said, colors and quality is fine. White balance was completely off, way too cold. And once I tried to actually set it right in the very advanced settings of the, where is it? Yeah, of the mirror vision software. Colors look completely wrong and black turned into brown and so the calibration is my only thing. If you don't care about non-accurate colors, you actually get quite something nice though. It's still almost, I would almost like to give it a very good if the calibration would be just better. Now what about the sound? I gotta say, especially on this demo, the sound is actually really nice. What it does though, since it maybe wants too much, because the volume for a Chinese budget tablet is actually way better. All the Chinese tablets that I had so far were very low on maximum volume. This is way better here, but still on those higher volumes it also starts to distort, especially on lower quality videos and YouTube videos. You notice this quite often, but it is actually one of the better ones for sure. So okay, with that, headphone jack is just about okay as well. Now let's get into my personal gripe about this tablet. Let's unlock it. It's the performance. It's just not really good. At least not always, because sometimes, for example, apps actually work fine. As you can see, yes, you can't really scroll more than 5 inches without any scrolling. Apps, like I said, still work actually fine. So if you mostly use apps and want to use this for media, performance-wise, it's good enough. But as you can see, there is quite some stuttering going on. But like I said, apps are not at all the issue. It's the browsing, and I will get into it later. So as you can see, yeah. Of course, multitasking is not that great. Multitasking is very sluggish. So if you want to jump between apps, as you can see, just for Chrome, and it wants to load, yeah, sometimes it takes ages. This was already a little bit of an extreme right now. Usually it's not that bad. But as you can see, now let's try to scroll. Yeah, this is the problem. And even once it's finished, so I'm just gonna wait because I know it won't get better. So it is, and this is not great. This is absolutely not okay. So the browsing experience, and even if I use, for example, the browser that I usually use, it's still, and this is kind of a lightweight site, and this is my main issue. If it's just about normal apps, it's fine, but the browsing experience is absolutely not good. What's also not really good is the charge time. 5 hours and 40. But even though I have to say that I didn't get a charger in my box, there was just an empty space and the cable. So I used the Quick Charge 3.0 charger with the cable, and it took 5 hours and 40. That's crazy long, especially since the battery life isn't amazing. It's good. I got roughly, I would say, solid 7 hours, maybe even 8 plus, depending on how you use it and kind of brightness. But let's say an average of 8 hours is absolutely possible with a good standby drain. But the charge. Now, software-wise, I'm not gonna go into much out of that because, yeah, let's unlock it once again. There is no app drawer, which is fine. You could just get a third-party app. But otherwise, as you can see, it's mostly stock. It's running on 7.0, which is good. And I would actually say, since this is stock Android, I don't really need to go into that. You get pretty much that. But the important part is what I have seen is that it actually even has support for something like lineage. So you could use custom ROMs. Now, I don't think that these custom ROMs will really improve the performance enough to make it a great experience after all. But I also can't really judge the software support from Teclast. I've seen some updates, and yes, I didn't get one during my time, but still, if you can get lineage or something like, do it. But yeah, which actually already brings me to my end. If you, and this is my recommendation, if you want to use it mostly just for media, you don't care about accurate colors, you are okay with the speaker, which actually is one of the better ones. But I tend to use just a Bluetooth speaker or a network speaker anyways all the time. For video, this device for media consumption is really good, and the battery life and everything then absolutely knows to deliver. Now, what it's not really good for more than, like, for example, apps, okay. So there's some casual, and email, yes. But if you are someone who uses the browser a lot, I don't know what's going on, especially also games. I've tried 3 free games, and all of them, after 6 crashes, I just gave up. So I can't really tell you anything about the game performance because it crashed. Maybe a factory reset or something else would have changed it, but I didn't really have the nerve to try it because I shouldn't. Now, for 150 euros or $180, could I recommend it? Like I said, for media, it's not bad. For anything more, I would say there are maybe alternatives. And especially if you don't want to import, I would still recommend, even though it's low resolution, something like the Samsung Galaxy Tab A 2016. Because that one has, after all, the better performance. The speakers maybe aren't great either, but the performance is noticeably better and the overall experience. So it's okay. But just personally for me, just because of the performance, which is very sluggish, apps switching, loading takes ages, and the constant stutters are what drove me kind of crazy. If that's not an issue for you, the display is really nice, even though it's calibrated weird. So that's it. I hope this was helpful, and if you're interested, just check the links down there below. Okay, my thanks. Bye.